What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bob's Garage. Today we're going to find out what this error means. Hey everybody, welcome back. And so I've owned this car for almost 2 years and I'd never seen that error message before. And if you watch my previous episodes, I had just finished replacing my heater core, got the entire car put back together, started up, and that error message appeared. Well, I'd never seen it before. I had to look it up in the owner's manual. Sure enough, it was my brake. That's the brake pad wear sensor. That's an alert saying that basically we need to change the brakes. So I double checked everything. I don't think I missed anything during the heater core process. And like I said, I've had the car for almost 2 years. So it was like $57 for the premium metallic brake pad set from AutoZone with electronic wear sensor built into it. So I was like, I was gonna come home today and take the whole car apart. Not the whole car, but take the wheels off, check the brake pads and all that. And then, you know, if they were bad, I was gonna go to AutoZone. I was like, for $57, I don't want to have to put the tires back on, drive over there, get them, or whatever. So I just bought them, picked them up today. Today is payday. So for $60 out the door, I didn't want to have to do double the work or whatever by putting the wheels back on and taking them back off a second time. So regardless if it needs the pads or not, the car's getting new pads. So these are just for the front brakes. Way back when, I did replace the passenger rear brake pads because something happened and the material completely sheared off. The brake pad material like broke off and it was bad. So those had already been done. So stay tuned. We're going to show you how to do the front brake pads, and let's make it happen. Alright, so first steps first. Before we jack the car up, we're going to break the lug nuts loose. Just using a straight edge screwdriver and to gain access to the lug nuts. Break those loose and then jack up your car before you remove them the rest of the way. These 17 millimeter, and we're going to use our breaker bar technique where it's just a piece of 3/4 inch conduit. Put it over our wrench. There it is. Break that son of a gun loose. Careful not to scratch your paint. Yes, some of us still only have hand tools. Grab the car and put the stand. Let's take it. And sometimes I can break down there. Get set up. There you go. There you go. Move your lug nuts completely. What's holding it around actually handy? Just because it starts so we need to get a little tool. We screw in there and it's like a and that allows you to align your wheel here. I don't know if tool never up. You guys like tool, you know, it's literally just like the stuff right in there. You just align your rim. Where your tire rig is on it, and all that. You know, it's a little sticky. There's some entering oil in that one. Never actually been sitting before. A little bit here, probably easy, but not sure if it's like it. It's not corrosion. Well, no, it's about the same. Almost like this stuff is rusting. It looks like water right in there. Okay, pull off, and voila. Alright, so we're moving in for a little bit of a closer look. And let me get my other flashlight here and just do a visual inspection. Definitely not as much meat on the pads as the new ones. Other than that, doesn't look too crazy. So, what was I gonna say? The new ones did. I did make sure before I left. They did come with the electronic wear sensor, and so they should be a direct replacement. I don't think, because of the way they engineered these, that we're gonna have to do anything crazy in terms of like
using a C-clamp or a brake replacement or brake tool kit to push the plunger in. And my rotors are getting a little bit low here. So we're gonna take this assembly apart, and I know the pads will just basically fall out. So to be honest, guys, this is my first car that has had brakes like this. I think this is called like a two-pot setup, where there's like two sets of pads, like one here and one here on this side, one here and one here on this side. So there's like two plungers almost pushing in on it. And really nice setup, really easy to access the brake pads themselves. And they probably did it this way because the car is so damn heavy. It's like 3,800 pounds. But yeah, let's dig in. Okay, so first things first, we need to release this retainer. There's two pins here and here that you gotta basically pull out and pop to pop free. There's the top. There's the bottom. And the entire setup hinges open. From here, now we can access our pads. And what we're going to do is use screwdrivers to push the plunger back in if we can. That'll give us a little bit more room to get the pads themselves out. Alright, now that we got our screwdrivers, the pistons are on the back side. So we're going to try to, let's see here. Best we can, we're going to try to get the probably not going to show up on camera, but I am compressing the piston. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my screwdriver all the way through and actually more or less pulling on the rotor. We'll see if that proves to be a major problem, touching the rotor. Okay, so here's the top pad, and if you notice there's a groove right inside here that goes all the way down, and that allows this pin on the top pad, it slides right down in that groove. You can see how it's kind of bubbled out on the backing here. So I would say that there's still a lot of meat on these, but the car's not liking something about it, and my brakes have been a pile of shit. Okay. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've driven cars with less than half of that material, and it's been fine, but like I said, we're just going to replace them and see what happens. Okay, so now up here, you have your brake wear sensor connector, and what you're supposed to do is just grab onto this and twist. Easier said than done sometimes. And just like that, we are stopped dead in our tracks. So I just mentioned how that the car stock has 4 pads per side. 1, 2, and then on the back 3 and 4. Well, the AutoZone part that they gave me has 4 total, which whatever, but you can see 2 of them have the sensor on them and the other 2 don't, but none of them are the same size as the ones for my car. So see out there, I need to figure out where or who messed up here, and most likely put my car back together to drive my ass over there to get the right part. Welcome to AutoZone, folks. All right. We just took a TV timeout and went to AutoZone and got the right parts. These ones were actually cheaper. So the previous set that I bought were $57.99. The set that looks to be correct is $44.99. So for 45 bucks, I got the correct brakes here. These are Duralast Gold. Quieter ride and smoother stops. That's how I like my ladies. What? Anyway, I'm looking here. So you can see the wear sensors about midway down the pad, right? And if you look on the existing pad or the old pad, it's down below this piece or part. So I guess I did need pads. Let's get in a little bit closer here. So sorry, I know my camera's like potato camera on close-ups, but this is your wear pad or wear sensor, and the material is below this little piece here. Here's the replacement, and you can see how much meat or pad it takes to wear down before you get to that sensor. So interesting. We'll see, and stay tuned. Okay, so we need to try to get these other pads out. These ones have little like dots. It's kind of hard to see because they're a little bit brittle, but like little dots in them. Those fit inside the pistons. Man, guys, there's so much material left on these. I'd almost think they're still good. I mean, the ride is still a little bit janky, so that's why I'm replacing them anyway. But okay, let's see here. All right, so now for this, let me move the camera up just a little bit here. So with this sensor here, you have to spin it and then pull it out. Let's see here. You like twist it. And then let me look at the existing one. Okay, maybe you can see it better on camera now. There's a little bit of a locking mechanism here, and normally it's like this, and it's locked in place. So you have to twist it, and then you can pull it out of the bracket. And then from there you can just separate these two. I'm going to get a little bit of a screwdriver in here and pry that, hopefully unlocking it. Sorry guys, I'm breathing so heavy in here. It's a little bit hot. There you go. So I just kind of pushed this in there, popped it, that unlocked it, and there's your brake pad, or what do they call it? Electronic wear sensor. So I don't know. I presume these are OEM pads through Audi, but we'll see if this works. I don't know. I'm almost thinking I need rotors, or at least get them turned, but we'll see. Okay. All right. So here you go. There's a groove down in here that needs to lock in place in the bottom of the holder here. Let's see. It's looking pretty good. Route the wire through the little wire holder. Okay. And we're gonna set this back in here exactly how it was. So we're gonna get it pushed in there. It's all plastic pieces, so you gotta be careful with them. I scratch up my watch. Trying to be gentle here. Okay, we pushed it down. Now we gotta lock it. Concerned I'm not going to be able to get this off ever again because it's going on so tight. Grab a different set of pliers here. Now, I'm always Mr. Pessimist, being that I probably should have tried to get the rest of these other pads in place before I just did all that. But that's okay, whatever, we'll make it happen. Okay, so now carefully look through the rest of your new pads, and the ones we're looking for this back side are the ones with the double pins. Right there. There you go. And those pins go inside the piston. And they'll kind of lock in for you. You'll know when it's in there. Okay. So another reason why you want to get that tool that locks it also locks your rotor in from falling out. That guide pin tool that I was talking about before. Okay, so there you have it. Next up are the front side pads, and they just have a single metal pin on them. This pin goes right inside these grooves. I'm already seeing an issue. Maybe not. I thought the pin was too big. Looked a little bit big compared to the stock one or the old one that I'm just removing. Okay, so line this pin up with that slot. And here's where we're going to run into a little bit of a problem, is you have to have your rotor on, of course. But not only that, here what we can try to do is we're going to thread in a couple lugs. Forgot how fun it is trying to get everything lined up. There it is. not even lined up with the hole. There you go. I think there's actually maybe more of an issue with the hole here than the stud or the lug nut. Okay, so that'll just keep our rotor from falling off. And let's see if we got enough space in here. We still do not. What I'm going to try to do here, I was going to try to get my old pad back in there. Where's it at? This one here. And compress that plunger, or what do you want to call it, the piston, a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to, let's see here. There you go. And probably could have used a C-clamp for this bad boy. I don't know, because it's kind of a little bit different than the older cars. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm lining this up with the old one to figure out which way it goes in. Directionally, I should say. It looks like these tabs are up. So you slide it in like that, you're good to go. Same for down here. We're going to put these tabs up, or towards the back of the car in this case. And we got to get our other piston compressed the rest of the way. Let's get this going here. There it is. Okay. And you got to line this pin up with your guide. And there you have it, guys. Swing this over. And I think I pinched it in the wrong place. I just grabbed these edges and muscled it out. You can just compress it here and roll it in there. Or just muscle it. Who cares, right? Okay, things to check. Make sure that your locking tabs here are resting, pushing the pads in. Those keep the pads from flying out. And the rotor still has a little bit of wiggle room. We're looking good here, guys. And I'm almost wondering if I should try to start the car up and see if I get that error message. Alright, we just took a TV timeout. And yes, the error is still there on the dash. I don't know if I have to clear that through VAG or not, like BCDS. But for now, this side is done. The only other thing I wanted to do while I'm over here is I need to, if you check out my other video that's basically talking about random squeaks and stuff, up here in my steering rack and pinion, or whatever it's called, my steering rack, it squeaks. So I need to lube that up before I put this tire back on. Alright guys, so one more note. This is straight up from the what we were working on just a second ago. That flexible hose looking thing in the back on the right, or inside of there, is what squeaks on this car. So I had lubed it up, I don't know, maybe less than 10,000 miles ago, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 miles ago. I just sprayed in some white lithium grease, and it stopped the squeaking. And it just came back again. So it'll just basically get worse and worse until you can't bear it anymore, and then you start trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But all I did was, sorry, my hand's shaking. I'm trying to hold two things at once here. I undid or pinched this little thing here, little clamp, and then I was able to slide this flexible hose back and then sprayed the grease in there, and then I just pulled it back and put that clamp back on. So that's all I just did now. Alright, so last steps, just reinstall the wheel, and that should be about it. Just double check everything before you get it buttoned up. Our wire connector is all back together here, and our pads are definitely twice as thick as the old ones, but I did try to start the car up and the error is still there, or the alert on the dash. So I only did one side at this point. So we are either going to move on to the next side or see how tired I am in just 2 minutes when I get this wheel back on. Alright, so we got the wheel back on, and I'm going to torque this down to, I'm going to say, well, actually this is set to 92 foot-pounds. So that's what I'm going to go with. And we're going to torque them down in a sacred geometry pattern. Alright, there you go. 92 foot-pounds.
Alright guys, so there you have it. That's how you replace your front brake pads on a B5 Audi S4. I'm going to call it a night. I just did the one side. I just went for a test drive, and the brakes actually feel way better. The sensor light or indicator or whatever you want to call it, alert, is still on. I want to say it was flashing before and beeping when I started the car. Now it just turns on. So I don't know if it was flashing and beeping because both were bad. I don't know. Comment below if you know the answer to that question. But I noticed this today, and I could really hear it now on the test drive. It's a nice quiet night right now, and I was driving with the windows down, and I hear a dentist drill sound. So, not looking good. I think I got a bad turbo, possibly. So stay tuned for more on that, and until next time, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'm glad to have you here. So, see you out there!